Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. LANDMAN Season 1 ending explained. What's next for Tommy after those twists? Taylor Sheridan delivered on LANDMAN Season 1 finale, one of the best episodes of the series so far, offering a ton of interesting drama to break down. The latest series from the acclaimed Yellowstone creator is centered around the Permian Basin's oil industry and a fictional company called MTEX. Billy Bob Thornton leads LANDMAN's cast as Tommy Norris, the crisis management executive for MTEX, which is owned by John Hamm's Monty Miller, Tommy's longtime friend. Episode 9's ending saw Monty hospitalized for heart issues, with this plotline carrying into the finale. The episode began with Monty Miller's heart condition worsening, resulting in his death. When Monty is in an incapacitated state, Tommy gains control of the company and Monty's estate. Tommy advises Kimmy, Demi Moore, to sell the company, liquidating what she can so her family can live comfortably for generations, but she decides she'd rather go all in on an oil drilling gambit. Later in the episode, Tommy is captured and tortured by the cartel before a drug lord named Galeno, Andy Garcia, arrives and stops it. The episode ends with Tommy once again watching a coyote in his yard. LANDMAN Season 1's penultimate episode saw Tommy speaking on the phone with Jimmins, a lower-level cartel boss who decides to take matters into his own hands in the finale. Jimmins captures Tommy and detonates an MTEX oil drill. Galeno is a new character introduced in LANDMAN Season 1 finale, bringing yet another veteran movie star into the mix. Andy Garcia, who's best known for his roles in The Untouchables and Ocean's 11, among many other iconic films, shows up as a sophisticated, dignified cartel leader who's hoping to end the cycle of violence. Galeno and Tommy discuss how they might be able to prosper simultaneously, learning to collaborate and generate income together. Tommy suggests that Galeno's drug business is declining, and Galeno suggests that he might be interested in pivoting to oil. Tommy is reluctant to form any agreements with the cartel, but Galeno strikes a hard bargain, matching Tommy's threats with facts of his own. The narrative implies that, in order for Tommy to succeed in the future, he may have to start making deals with the devil. Monty's death puts Tommy in a bind, as now he's essentially working on behalf of Kimmy. He's the president of the company now, but he's still planning to honor Kimmy's decisions and spend the money how she wants, advising her along the way. Tommy wants to help her, but he knows the immense risks of diving deeper into the oil business, and knows the stress of constant make-or-break risk was what led Monty to his death. Literally and figuratively, Tommy doesn't want the same to happen to Kimmy, or himself, for that matter. Regardless, Tommy tries to put aside his differences with Rebecca, who's still hesitant about working to the advantage of an oil company. He brings her back on as the main lawyer, with her intended to be the negotiator, while Nathan provides more oil industry experience for the legal team. They organize their strategy before Tommy is abducted by the cartel, and this narrative is left for the next season. Tommy seeing the coyote has a significant symbolic meaning for his story. All in all, he's a man who's focused on his work, often at the sacrifice of personal happiness or time with his family. Due to a number of factors in Season 1, including Monty dying with regret that he didn't spend more time with his children, Tommy begins to reconsider his role in the industry. This is part of why he wants Kimmy to sell the company, as taking a greater risk means less stability for him, more stress, and a likelihood of turning out like Monty. The first coyote at the end of Episode 9 was shot and killed by Tommy's neighbor. The second time he sees one, he encourages it to run away, saying that coyotes get shot around here. The coyote is a symbol of Tommy's freedom and the generalized freedom of the Western frontier. With Monty dying and Tommy taking a larger role in the company, not to mention getting in bed with the cartel, he's more trapped in his work life than ever, essentially dooming him to the same fate as Monty. Tommy returns home from being abducted by the cartel with bruises all over his face, immediately raising concern from Angela Ellie Larder. In a godfather-like manner, Tommy suggests that there are things he won't be able to tell her about his job, essentially shutting the door between his work and home life. Angela wants Tommy to be happy, and she wouldn't be thrilled about the risks he's taking with work. By shutting her out, he's doing what he needs to do so that he can focus on MTechs. Season 1 of LANDMAN delivered a finale packed with twists, betrayals, and emotional gut punches, leaving fans eager to dissect what it all means for Tommy and the world he inhabits. As the dust settles, it's clear that Tommy's journey is far from over. Let's break down the ending of LANDMAN Season 1 and explore what might be next for our embattled protagonist. The Season 1 Finale Recap. The final episode, titled Beneath the Surface, saw Tommy locked in a desperate struggle to protect both his family and the legacy of his father. Throughout the season, Tommy, a landman negotiating oil and mineral rights in a small Texas town, has juggled corporate greed, environmental activists, and personal demons. In the finale, these elements collided in dramatic fashion. The episode's central conflict revolved around the drilling rights to the Barra Ranch, a property rich in untapped oil reserves. Tommy's employer, Apex Energy, was hellbent on securing the land by any means necessary. Meanwhile, environmental advocate Claire Maxwell, who shares a complicated history with Tommy, unearthed damning evidence of Apex's shady dealings, including illegal drilling operations that led to groundwater contamination. Tommy's moral compass was tested to its limits when he discovered that his estranged brother, Jake, had been secretly working with Apex to sabotage Claire's efforts. This revelation came just as Tommy was beginning to mend his fractured relationship with Jake, making the betrayal all the more devastating. In a nail-biting sequence, Tommy confronted Jake at the Barra Ranch, only for their argument to be interrupted by a staged explosion orchestrated by Apex to frame Claire and her activist group. The season ended with a cliffhanger. Tommy, battered and bloodied, standing in the middle of the chaos, holding a file of incriminating evidence against Apex. As law enforcement and media descended on the scene, Tommy faced a choice: expose the truth and risk his career, and possibly his life, or bury the evidence and continue working for Apex, ensuring financial stability for his family. What does the ending mean for Tommy? Tommy's journey in Season 1 has been defined by his struggle to reconcile his personal values with the demands of his job. The finale's events force him to confront the consequences of his choices head-on. By ending on such a precarious note, the show emphasizes the stakes of Tommy's moral dilemma. If Tommy chooses to expose Apex, he risks alienating powerful allies, including his boss, Roy Keller, who has been both a mentor and a manipulative force in Tommy's life. Additionally, going public could put a target on Tommy's back. Apex has shown they're willing to go to extreme lengths to protect their interests. On the other hand, burying the evidence would ensure short-term security, but come at a significant cost to Tommy's soul. Throughout the season, we've seen glimpses of his internal conflict, particularly in his interactions with Claire. Her idealism and commitment to justice serve as a stark contrast to Tommy's pragmatism, challenging him to consider the broader impact of his actions. Key twists and their implications. Jake's betrayal. Jake's decision to collaborate with Apex adds a new layer of complexity to Tommy's family dynamics. While Jake claimed he was motivated by a desire to protect their late father's land from being sold to outsiders, his methods reveal a darker, more self-serving side. This betrayal not only fractures their relationship, but also raises questions about Jake's future role in the story. Will he seek redemption, or will his alliance with Apex deepen? The explosion at Barra Ranch. The staged explosion is a game-changer, shifting public perception and creating a new set of challenges for Claire and her team. While the immediate fallout seems to work in Apex's favor, the evidence Tommy holds could turn the tide. This incident also highlights Apex's ruthlessness, setting them up as a formidable antagonist for Season 2. Claire's evidence. Claire's discovery of Apex's illegal activities provides Tommy with a potential weapon against his employer. However, using it would mean aligning himself with Claire, a move fraught with personal and professional risks. Their complicated history, marked by a mix of mutual respect, unresolved romantic tension, and ideological differences, adds emotional weight to this decision. What's next for Tommy? The final's open-ended nature leaves several possibilities for Tommy's future. Becoming a whistleblower. If Tommy decides to expose Apex, he'll likely face immediate retaliation. Season 2 could explore his efforts to navigate the fallout, potentially aligning him with Claire and her activist network. This path would also deepen the show's exploration of themes like corporate accountability and environmental justice.